Welcome to the latest episode of Cut to the Chase. And Shane, let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone to a meeting and you just full steam ahead, you think you know what they want, and you just go in and without even asking a couple of questions, you start talking about what you think that they want to hear. And at the end of it, they just, you lost them because you were there for a reason, but you did not understand what the reason was, right? Because you had a perception in your mind that you were there to, say, do a listing presentation. The reality is that maybe you didn't ask the right questions.
Maybe you didn't ask the right questions, but you went full steam ahead as well. So it wouldn't have been a very successful meeting.
No.
If that is, so the context of it, real estate is all about context and everything. It's about relationship establishment. It's about answering the right questions. It's about solving a problem. It's about finding a solution to something. And you can only find a solution when you know what the issue or the problem is. So there's a whole lot of questions to be asked first and foremost. There's different ways of selling a house, right? You've got tender, you've got auction, you've got this, you've got that. But until you find out what the reason is behind it, that's when you can start working towards what you want to talk to them about. But finding the fundamental reasons for why they're selling, where they're going to, what the reason is, what they want to expect out of it, what they do for a living, where they are, where the children go to school, something about them, that's going to get you, that's going to give your pre-planned talk much more emphasis.
Because and I was in a meeting a couple of days ago, and this is me just, always growing, right? Always better never stops. And I always like to start by saying, hey, look, I always like to start by looking at some comparable sales. And they stopped me. Thank God they stopped me. And they said, Diego, we don't care about the comparable sales. So now, every meeting after that, I've been actually asking a question, how important is it to you to actually discuss the comparable sales in details? Surprisingly, half the people say not as important as I thought it would be. Yeah. I thought it was going to be one of the most important, but it wasn't for that particular person. So now I'm asking the question every single meeting, how important for you is it to understand what the marketing entails? How important for you is to understand what the timeline looks like? And I ask these questions at the start so that when I get to that particular juncture of the listing presentation, because that's what we're talking now, I know how much emphasis I need to put on that particular topic.
Yeah, that's true.
And give me some tips on what do you think agents can, because it's about asking the right question, right? And you got to ask it in a way that will allow you to then service them in the way they need to be serviced.
Yeah, well, but before I do that, I'll preface this by saying I've worked with Diego a long time now and been on many a review meeting, reserve, and he does start his conversations with, is there anything you'd like to know? Is everything okay? Ask really good questions. So it's a really good relationship establishment, and you do that really well. But here's where you've got to find a modicum of trust or relationship with them really quickly. So it's just asking them the basics. Can I ask why you chose me to be here today? What is the outcome you're looking to solve? Have you been through an auction before? Have you been through a sale before? Have you bought before or whatever? What are we going to achieve together? And then you ask him, this is what generally I do as far as my communication goes. Is this going to be enough for you? Is it going to be too much? What do you want to do? And all of a sudden you're starting to have dialogue with someone. You're not talking at them, you're talking with them. That's the tip. Talk with them, not at them.
What are you trying to get out of today's meeting is a question that I always ask in one shape or form, right? What's important for you to understand today? Those kind of questions are very open, right? And it's very easy. And I put my hand up. It's very easy to go and talk a lot and not ask the right question. And in most cases, you're talking a lot because they're asking you, again, we're talking appraisals here. They ask you to go in for an appraisal. And normally there's 3-4 things they want to know about. And across the range, it's always the same. At the same time, the more questions you ask, the more you can actually give them the information that they want without fluff as well, because I think people appreciate it as well.
Yeah.
And I always say, look, I can be here for 2 hours if you like, but at the same time, I'm mindful. My calendar invite was for 45 minutes, and I like to complete the meeting in half an hour so that I can spend the last 15 minutes to answer any additional questions at the end. Are you okay with that? And just get the permission to actually have an agenda and actually say, this is what we're going to be doing. How important is each part of the agenda? And at the end of it, then if you feel comfortable, we can move forward. Questions. It's not easy though, is it?
It's not easy, but I think you full of words that you said, and something if we can get our heads around saying is, are you okay? Are you okay with that?
So anything that we can do even better.
You got her.
Love it. Cut to the chase. We'll see you next week.